Hi, so today I have Alison with me. Alison is a busy mother and wife, but we've got her on today because she's also a very busy business owner and nutritional therapist. So, Alison, how are we doing today?
Yeah, we're all good, thank you. Weather's not as good as it was, but can't complain. Still alive, and so are my husband and children. So
We've
we're
got it,
we're all good.
we've got it a lot better than a lot of others. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah, the glass is definitely half full in that respect. So let's I've got quite a lot to talk to you about, and because our paths do kind of cross with my profession and your profession,
yeah.
except that my profession is definitely a lot more Mickey Mouse than your profession. You know, the personal trainers. I think you can get a personal trainer award now through a cereal box if you collect enough stickers. Um, how did you? How did you start? So talk. Let's go back before you became a nutritional therapist. What were you doing? What were you up to?
So something very different. I was the head of IT for a property development firm back in King's Cross. I don't know. I think they're still there. And I had, a very successful career. Did love my job, and then I had my two children, and found that I couldn't do both to the best of my ability. When I was at work, I wanted to be at home. When I was at home, I wanted to be at work, and yeah, it was impossible. So I decided to step away, and spent a few months wandering around, a bit clueless, not knowing what to do next. And I feel like I did college and university in IT, so it was something that I was good at, and I was always told to do what you're good at, so that's what I did. But I can't say it excited me. And I found my way to nutrition, which I feel is a bit like a calling. I get very passionate about it. I want to share the knowledge that I have. I want to educate people because not only is it frightening, but it also allows people to take control of their life to a certain extent. And I think that's, especially in times like these, we want an element of control over our lives.
Oh,
So yeah, that's how I got there.
now I'm always talking to all of our clientele. I do Q&As on this all the time. When it comes to nutrition, a lot of people have kind of got it into their head. And I said to you earlier that there needs to always be this element of excitement, of pleasure. They need to have this big explosion of flavour in their mouth every time they eat, which has kind of led us towards looking at food as entertainment as opposed to, as dull as it sounds, fuel to keep you going. Um,
Mm.
what kind of barriers do you have when your clients are, well, kind of just not doing what they're meant to be doing? Because I struggle so much with my clients, uh, and it is so difficult to get them to see the light, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of ways that I do it. First of all, I won't work with anybody until they've done me a 2-week food diary, sleep diary, and mood and any illnesses that they have. I get asked why I had to do 2 weeks. It's simply because I'm a mum. I know what happens in half term. So
Yeah.
if you have a half term, it's completely out the window. So I need to know, what's going on in a regular week, if you like. And the other thing is that kind of means that they're committed. If they're committed enough to do a 2-week diary with that information, they're committed to making a change. Um, and the other thing is, you're right, meals are entertainment, and our day is based around them. But my philosophy is everything in moderation. You shouldn't
Mm.
restrict yourself, because as soon as you restrict yourself from something you like, you're going to feel miserable. You're not going to want to follow it. You've got to enjoy yourself. Food is there to eat and enjoy as well as fuel your body, and it's not that difficult to do it well and in a tasteful manner, if you
Hmm.
like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think that although not every meal I have, I mean, I show people what I eat on a regular basis and stuff. And to be fair, depending on what I'm eating at the time, doesn't really dictate um, my energy as well as it should do, to be honest. And I think after this, I'm going to pick your brains about a few things, and you might have sneakily landed yourself a client, to be honest. Um, because I'd say that sometimes when I'm trying to get myself in a certain way or shape, I will either lose energy or I can lose focus and concentration, which I think is something that someone like yourself could definitely help me with. And I guarantee there's a shed load of people listening that will probably agree. How do you combat something? I mean, that is such a huge question. I apologise for in advance. But how do you even combat something like that?
Energy
versus weight loss and then concentration as well.
Well, the thing about nutritional therapy is it's individual, because everybody is different, and I don't need to tell you what works for one person won't work for another person. So, you know, the start of the consultations are quite dull. There is a lot of form filling. There's a lot of questions to be asked and answered, and then I can go through and look at any deficiencies. Majority everything I do is questions and answers. What I do ask, if people are willing, is to, it's a bit difficult these days at the moment, but what I do ask is for them to I'll go to the doctors and request a full blood count of minerals, vitamin, all your levels, all your hormone levels. Sometimes doctors don't like to do that unless there's something wrong with you, at which point I can point you to somewhere that you can do it privately, and I get a discount with that. So and that gives you, it's what I've done, it gives you a baseline. You know what you've got, and with that, together with all the questions that I ask, I can get an idea of, you know, what your body's doing on the inside as well as what you're doing on the outside, and then move forward appropriately.
I love that. Yeah, I think I'm definitely up for a bit of a challenge. So it's probably something that I'm going to be looking to do in anyway. I've been looking for something like this for a while, to be honest. Let's move over to let's have a little move over to the family life then. So I can imagine that it's definitely very testing, especially whereas now you said that you're getting this business running more efficiently online and stuff. How are you finding that when it comes to being in lockdown with 2 young kids running around?
You might find out in a minute.
Yeah.
To be fair, my husband and I work very well in the fact that, I say very well, you could say something else, but each evening during lockdown, the way we've done it is that kids thrive on structure, and I think we do to an extent as well. And you know, we're all adapting to a massive change. So what we do each night is we have effectively a school timetable. We put his calls in, we put my calls in, and we try and cover the 4 essential topics with the children. And we just kind of, I usually get the morning with PE with Joe Wicks, which, you know, I'm not going to complain about. That's quite entertaining viewing. And then, you know, I'll do maths or what have you. My husband Matt, he'll do his calls, and then we'll swap. So I get some time to do my work, and yeah, it works quite well like that. And then in the afternoon, one of us usually gets a chance to go out for a run. Maybe we'll take the kids out to the forest with us, and then when my back's better, I'll get back to my Springbok that I do online as well. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to us about. I mean, you've you mentioned off the recording about something that happened previously this year. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So I had a quite significant car accident February the 21st, and it's taken me 2 months to get back into the car. Simply just been absolutely terrified. We were stationary. There was nothing we could have done about it. I was driving, and the kids were in the back, and someone came into us and wrote the car off. They wrote their car off as well because they swerved to avoid someone and hit us. They had to be cut out.
Wow.
You know, we walked away. We were very lucky. I've just suffered with whiplash, and I think half of it, I don't know if it's from the actual impact, because someone came into us, so we had that impact, and then we shot back 20 foot and someone rear-ended us as well. So it could have been that, but I think majority of it is where I was instantly turning around to look at the kids, because the pain that I've had's been down the right side of my back. So it's been, I think, it's where I've gone like that to make sure they're okay. And yeah, I mean, obviously that's it's not, it's stolen the carpet out from under my feet. It's not my confidence. I've not wanted to drive. So yeah, kind of things went on hold for a bit, but now I've kind of found my feet again, and now I'm hopefully moving it forward again.
No, that's amazing, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. I'm so happy that everyone's walked away from it and everyone's okay. But more importantly, now I suppose it's time to focus on moving forward. And like you said previously, can't complain. Everyone's still alive and everyone is still kicking, as it were, which is amazing as well. Where do you see? So I got in contact with you via a business forum. What kind of things are you doing to kind of stay active and keep yourself out there and kind of trying to prospect for clientele? What kind of things are you doing right now?
Well, at the moment, I'm focusing on my workshops because I think that's the area that I can springboard in from to get clients. Because it kind of, I do charge because I'm sharing a lot of information, but it also shows that my knowledge and where I can help people, and it also gets my message out there about education and people just getting the basics right. Mm-hmm. I am going to be doing some webinars that I'll put up for free. I am a member of a couple of networking groups. One's just gone online and I'm starting with them this month. Quite active on Facebook, and just kind of keeping, like when things like posts come up like they do with you, I'm happy. I like to help people as well. If I can do anything that will help make someone's life a bit easier or a bit healthier, that's what I do. So yeah, I mean, with IT in a degree, I did help people. I helped things work. So but yeah, so it's just keeping an eye on things. Trying not to overwhelm myself is the biggest challenge I have. I qualified for a scholarship with the academy that I got my qualifications with. So I'm currently taking as many qualifications with them as I can in 12 months, so I can increase and then this was a special COVID-19 scholarship that they're doing to try to support their graduates. So yeah, that's something that I'm trying to do as well. So it's just a case of moving forward and trying to get more clients that I can really work with and really help, as well as the workshops. I mean, ultimately, I know it's not a big money spinner, but ultimately I'd like to get into schools at some point to get the education in there. And that, that isn't for money reasons. That is just purely my passion, and I want them to understand it.
It's so needed. I also run, I think I spoke to you earlier about this off camera, but I run a little free weight management club, which isn't any of the big, it's not run by a big name or anything like that, because I don't agree with their principles. Like, I won't mention any names, but any of the big companies there, you have to go and pay to stand in a room, to stand on a sad step. I don't agree with. So I run it completely for free for my local community. So you don't actually have to be a member of my gym. You can actually just come to my gym and be weighed, have a talk about your diet and nutrition, and we use tracking apps on phones to talk about it. And the amount of people, every single person that's been there has been on one, if not two to three of these clubs. And when I opened it in January, which was the first week of January, we've only got a small room, which we use as a classroom, which in yoga standards, you could get about 12 to 15 people in it for yoga, right? Well, we had 60 people turn up, and I had people hanging out the door, and we had to open up another set of doors so people could kind of still see in. Had to do a Facebook Live so people could watch downstairs. And out of all of those people, no one could tell me what protein, carbohydrate, and fat were. They couldn't tell me what they were. Like, they couldn't give me an example of a food which was more rich in carbohydrate, more rich in fat, more rich in protein. No one could tell me anything about calorie or nutritional information. They couldn't tell me how many calories per gram of fat, protein, any of that. But they'd all been to all of these clubs, and they have not been educated whatsoever. And I think it's scary that people are allowed to give misinformation on that level, especially whereas everybody who takes these clubs is so poorly educated. I mean, to me compared to you, I'm poorly educated, but them compared to me, they can't even talk the language, let alone anything else, and it is scary. So what you're saying there, I've gone off on a bit of a rant there, but
That's
I
okay.
could not agree more. And I think, I really think that could help. Even if there was a kids program you could write, I don't know, but it is so needed. It is so needed. And yeah, I think you've come into that at the right time. We're going to go back into family and home life now. So what kind of things are you guys doing to kind of just keep yourselves active? Nothing to do with business or work now, either active or motivated. What kind of things are you doing in that respect?
I think it's harder. I'm going to sound ridiculous now. I think it's actually harder for people that don't have children, because we have to get up in the morning. It would be very easy just to sit in bed, especially if you've been furloughed, and not do anything, sit in front of Netflix for the whole day and waste the day, or not waste, but sometimes I crave a day of Netflix like anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
And it's okay to have that every now and again, but because we've got children, we have to get up and we have to educate them and feed them and look after them. And so I think they're a big part, obviously, of our day, and having that structure of the timetable, trying to get the 4 essential things, education areas in, that's what gives us, it's the structure, it's having that structure. And kids, as you well know, thrive on structure, and I think human beings do as well. And we don't cope well with change, especially something that's so big and happens so quickly. People are very, very out of sorts, if you like, and it is very difficult to keep motivated, especially in the fitness area as well, because people can't get down to the gym. So, and I've had a week where I just didn't want to do anything. I mean, obviously I got up, got dressed and sorted the kids out and everything, but I didn't really fancy going for a run or anything. And I just think it's okay, and to expect it, because we're in a very unusual time, and I don't think anybody can predict how people are going to feel about it. And as I said, we're a family of 4. If this had happened 20 years ago, I think it would be a very different story. I think suicide rate would be up. People, we're social animals. We need people around us, and we're lucky we've got the FaceTime and the Skype and everything, and we've got these meetings that we can have. So life can pretty much carry on in a virtual way. And and with the supermarket shopping, again, we've been very lucky. I'm with a food subscription service which I've been with for years, and I've not missed any. They've come. So I think, as I said, it's routine, trying to keep to some sort of sense of normality. And I do have a business coach as well, and he's helped me. For me, it's having that accountability. I need someone to set me a goal and say, right, I'm going to check up on you, and then I do it. And in terms of, I know you didn't ask for business, but I've found in this instance, everybody's gone online at the same time. Everybody's advertising on the line at the same time. So I am finding more beneficial if I follow up one-to-one with people that had to cancel my workshop because of the coronavirus. I didn't get anything when I advertised it on Facebook, but when I followed them up, I've got 6 people this evening for my workshop, and I don't really like to do more than 10 if I can, because I want people to get an experience from it.
Well, I think a lot of people just kind of click stuff and then don't really have a lot of thought behind it, and then sometimes they get anxious about it. They think, oh, what if it's a scam? And then they get a bit worried. And then when you get the personal touch of, oh, I noticed that you clicked this, I was just wondering how, and you follow that up. And it's stuff that we've done in the past as well, especially if we're picking up the phones and phoning up some of our members. The reaction that we get from that is always positive. Even if they don't even want to talk to me, or they don't want to be a member anymore when we phone them up. They've been lovely down the phone to me. They've gone, look, not going to lie, mate, deciding just to be lazy for a bit. And, they're really nice about it, which, there's a lot to be said for doing the proactive stuff versus the reactive stuff. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And again, that word has come up a few times in this interview and some of the others, but the accountability is such an important area. And I do a lot of talks with our clientele about how they can remain accountable and ways that they can use people around them to hold them accountable if they can't use us for it, because we have to charge for stuff like that. Would you say there's an element of accountability when it comes to doing what you do, or is it more the therapy side of things that you work with, or both?
I think it's, you have to be accountable, which is why I mentioned before that I won't work with anybody until they've done a 2-week food, mood and sleep and symptom diary, because that shows that they're committed and they want to change. And the blood tests as well, the independent blood tests. I think once someone sees it in black and white, you can't really argue with it. And then if you do the regular blood tests, it shows your progress. I mean, the thing about what I do and what difference between what a doctor does, I mean, a doctor will prescribe you medication and you, like antibiotics, you expect it to work in 24 hours. With what I do, it's going to take at least a month for your body to benefit from it. So people get disheartened. So if you've got something like a blood test that shows that your vitamin levels are going up, or, your cholesterol's going down or what have you, that's the evidence that people need. And I think it is the accountability, and then having that at the end to show that you have done well and you're getting somewhere is the key thing. And I try to, as you're probably the same, I try to avoid anybody jumping on the scales. I use that image that is so readily available on the internet about the sort of 5 pounds of fat and the 5 pounds of muscle, how much, they look so different.
Every session. I've got the actual little they sit on my desk at work, and they come out every single meeting, and we throw them around at each other. And there's such a massive thing. One's like this and one's like this. So, it speaks for itself, speaks volumes. So, moving back, we're going to come to a bit of a close now, okay? Because I've loved everything you said, but I try and keep these in a bit of a bite-sized chunk when it comes to listening. That's only a personal preference. Moving back to the beginning of this lockdown, okay, and I asked everyone this question: if you could give yourself some advice, knowing what you know right now, if you could go back 5 weeks, what would you tell yourself?
That's a good one. Take advantage of the time. Take advantage of it, because you're not going to get it again. And try not to stress too much about the kids not being at school again. You're not going to get this time with them. Mine still are very small. I'll say very small, but I'm not going to. It's unprecedented. We didn't have it with our parents, and make the most of it.
I love that. And you know what, I resonate a lot with that, and it's a message I'm trying to push out there a lot more as well. So I really appreciate that answer, and thank you very much. Now, just a quick one, Alison. We are going to provide some contact information for yourself in the show notes. So would that be in the shape of like a Facebook group, website, or anything like that, or is it fairly new at the moment? Where can we get hold of it?
My website's in development, but I'm on Facebook, or I'm happy for my mobile number and whatever email address and whatnot to go out. It's not a problem. Happy for people to WhatsApp me, call me, whatever they contact method they prefer.
Fantastic. Okay, well, we'll put all that in the show notes, and from there we can help get people on the right track when it comes to their nutritional goal. And I know I'm definitely going to be picking your brains after we press the stop record button. So for everybody else, guys, I'm about to press the stop button. So if you have listened today, you thought it has been helpful, I know there's plenty of little gems throughout this interview that are going to help me moving forward. If you could just press that share button so other people can listen or view this video depending on which platform you're using. Likewise, if you'd like to tell us something that you've learned or if it's something that you've enjoyed, please do comment below. Keep it nice and be kind. Also, guys, if you do want to be in touch with myself, please do comment below and I'll be in touch, or get in contact with me via my Facebook page, which is normally in the show notes as well. So thanks again, guys, and we'll be seeing you soon. Stay safe.
Thank you.